Well, how about a newbie who's learning to approach strangers and learning to approach women? When he goes up and he approaches women, if he's not confident in himself and he doesn't have belief, what kind of evidence is he going to get? Positive or negative? Negative. Right? So, for a newbie, if you want to compare putting in a contact lens to approaching girls, this is like putting in a contact lens, and when you touch it the first time, your eye explodes like the Death Star. Okay? That's really what it's like. Because when you're a newbie, you're like, okay, they said in the program it's okay to approach. So you're like, all right, I'll go and approach, right? And then, right? And of course, if a newbie's sense of self, if his sense of identity is not that strong yet, right? If you're don't have a strong sense of what you value and who you are, that girl blowing you off, your state's like that, right? I don't want to do this anymore. This stuff is stupid. So that's what's going on. That is the newbie's paradox. The paradox is this. In order to get that unwavering belief, you need reference experiences to believe it. But you can't get the reference experiences without the unwavering belief a lot of the time. I mean, you can get some, but you're not going to get those incredible reference experiences that you want. That's the newbie's paradox. It's hard to break out of the newbie's paradox because the more the newbie goes out and gets blown out, what's that? Boot camp. Yeah, but you can't break out of it. It's really, really difficult. So look. To have unwavering belief, you have to get to a point where, number one, you fully assume that what you're going to do is going to work. And number two, here's the second criteria, you have to be totally indifferent to the odd times that it doesn't. All right? So number one, you have to fully assume it works. Number two, you have to be indifferent if it doesn't work. That is the only way that you're going to approach women thoughtlessly, without flinching. It's totally natural, congruent, and smooth. It cannot be like the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. You just understand it. All right? That's what it means when it's internalized, like when you sit on a chair, when you're walking. So you're relaxed about it. There's definitely no sense of self or no pride tied into it. It's just a funny thing that you can do, and you know that anybody else could figure it out if they were to try. Okay? So what that means is this. When you start to get good with women, you can't make this identity out of it. Like, look at all this cool stuff that I can do that other people can't do. I'm so cool. All right? You can't be coming from that perspective. It's got to be like, yeah, it's this little cool thing that I can do. Other people could learn it too. You don't make it into like some kind of a big deal, all right? When you're talking to somebody, you shouldn't have this false sense of superiority just because you know how to approach women. It's just a cool little thing that you know how to do. If they wanted to learn how to do it, they could do it. If not, fine. That's called the it's no big deal type of attitude. Because when you make it a big deal, you're constantly trying to reinforce it. What you need to be on is almost like a level where, you know how if you ask a natural about this stuff, they think it's funny? Have you ever noticed that when you talk to a natural about this stuff, it kind of messes with their heads? Yeah. All right, let me ask you this. Look, imagine if I go up to you and I start saying, so you could really like drink water? Right? Look, just try to, because I'm just having a hard time grasping this. You could really drink water, for real. Like you can just take it and like you just pour it down your throat and you drink. Oh my God, right? That was amazing. That was amazing. All right? Okay? And so when I'm doing that, in some subtle way, obviously you know you can drink water, but in some subtle way, it's almost making you think like, yeah, right? Like, I think, right? You know, it's like maybe I can. No, I can. I know I can, right? When they're being doubted. That's why naturals, a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time when you talk to them about it, they're like, what is this? What is this guy? Right? What is he talking about? And they can almost seem irritated because you're messing with their reality. Okay? It's starting to make you self-doubt. So you want to be on a level where it's fully internalized. Let's compare it to walking through walls. Great comparison here. All right, so look. Say that I believe that I can walk through this nice little paper pad here. All right? I'm going to walk through the giant paper pad, which we could just imagine as being a wall. Could you make yourself, just by telling yourself over and over that it'll work, walk up to this and just boom, and just plow it over with like full belief? How about like a concrete wall? No. Like you know when you walk into a patio door, how much that hurts? Yeah. Because you walked into it hard, right? Like you fully walked into it. You didn't like slow down a bit, so it hits. Like there's a lot of momentum. Well, in a lot of ways, Telling a newbie that he can go approach a woman is like telling him that he can walk through a wall. There's always that little bit, as he's approaching, that little bit of flinch, that little bit of self-protection. What I call that is dipping your little toesies in the pond to see if it's warm. All right? It's like this. It's like, ooh, is it warm? Ooh, ooh. All right, like that. It's an inability to really put your personality on the line. And we call these ego defense mechanisms. What an ego defense mechanism is where you're talking to the girl and your unconscious mind will make you flinch so that you can tell yourself, she didn't reject the real me, she rejected the flinching me. You ever been talking to a girl and you start going like this as you're talking, you're like that? Ever done that? Right? Well, if she rejects you, did she reject the real you? No, she rejected the wobbling you. Right? So it wasn't the real you. It is not going to affect your state on the same level. And so that's that flinch. Most guys are not able to just walk up to a girl, hey, who are you? Right? They don't have that level of smoothness. But it's when you get that level of smoothness that you become congruent, you become smooth, you become sleek. Like, it's just like that nice, you can tell a guy he's got just really nice skills with women. He's just got that smoothness about him, that congruence about him. There's no flinching taking place. It's not a belief system anymore. It's an understanding. It's not, I believe that if I approach, I'll get a great response. It's just an understanding. I understand that people are not, I understand that the floor will hold me up. I understand that people are nice and I can talk to them. I just understand it now. It's not this big deal. It's not like, look what I can do, all right? I understand. Oh, I'm going to talk to them. I just understand it. You don't even think about it. That's what total belief means. Newbie's paradox makes it very, very hard to achieve. Let's say you want to scramble yourself. Let's say that you want to sort of scramble yourself out of Newbie's paradox. You want to get out of it. This is one of the biggest, for me, this has been one of the biggest epiphanies that I've learned to get myself into state, to get that nimbus burning in a raging inferno very, very quickly. And that is this. The halfway point between fear and total belief, you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Indifference. You got it. Indifference. The halfway point between total belief and being a chode is indifference. So is it a good idea to try to cultivate total belief? Can you do that? Can you try to deliberately go out and try and cultivate total belief? Like, I'm going to go out tonight and try and cultivate total belief, even though I'm going to get blown out a whole bunch of times as a newbie, and the only belief that I'm going to learn is that I suck because of my reference experiences, but I'm going to try to cultivate total belief. You can't really do that, guys. All right? As a newbie, you can't really go out and try to cultivate total belief because you're trying to gather what? Reference experiences. Does everyone here know what reference experiences are?
Yes.
Reference experience, like, when you're a kid, you're trying to walk, you're trying to see that the floor will hold, you're trying to see that if you move forward, this will happen, if you move backwards, this will happen. You're gathering what is called reference experience. You're gathering evidence. All right? That's why newbies are always out there desperate to gather evidence of their newfound identity. Right? Like, I want to feel like this cool guy. And then you need to keep getting evidence to prove that you're that cool guy. So, you cannot get evidence that all people will respond well to you if you don't totally believe it. You're not going to get evidence of that. All that you're going to get as a newbie is evidence that you suck, typically. That's the evidence that you're going to get. And I got a lot of that evidence for a long time. All right? So, when you're starting out, there's no possibility of gathering evidence or reference experiences that you're great, that you're this big pimp. But you can gather reference experiences that it doesn't matter what people think of you. You can gather evidence of that. All right? So by going out night after night, getting shot down, getting hammered, getting humiliated, getting embarrassed, you can gather a lot of evidence of one thing. It really doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. That is what you could learn. So you're going out, you're learning it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. And you go through these motions, you go through it, and eventually you cross something that's beautiful. And that something is what I call the indifference threshold. All right? There is that nice, we call it the harmonious ting of true indifference, all right? True indifference, okay, true letting go of the outcome, it's a harmonious ting that somebody has when they have let go of the outcome and they're not reaching in their interactions anymore. Okay, it's like a loss of neediness. And when you can let go, all right, when you can let go of that need for outcome, suddenly what happens is the girls start being nicer. You may not be on a level where you can pull them out of there and it's like all pimp, but they start to really open up. And so what you can essentially do is bombard your mind, all right? Because what is this system put in place to do? The system, which is so that, okay, stop and really think about how this system is designed to screw you over, okay? Really think about this. Women respond to guys that are confident. Why? Why do they respond to guys that are confident, guys?
Sucks them into reality.
Okay, sucks them in the reality. Okay, what else, guys? High value, right? If your confidence, is it the confidence that attracts you? It's what it communicates. Okay? The confidence communicates that you're probably successful with other women. That's really what it's, and it's communicating resourcefulness, other things. But confidence is communicating that you're successful with other women. All right? So, the system is designed, like the woman's evolutionary system is designed not to feel attracted to you if you're not confident. Right? It's designed to do that. So if you're not successful with women, the system is put there to prevent you, some little slug, right, when you're starting out, if you're chode, from getting girls. Because it's to prevent the population from being overrun with chode babies. All right? You know, that's, I mean, we're getting this is very black and white thinking, right? Extreme, sweeping generalizations. But, you know, I'm just being silly. But like, the system is put there so that you can't be successful. The system is put there so that you cannot get confident unless you really, you know, have what the women want, right? And like have that, you know, survival reproduction value. So what you can do is you have to scramble the system, all right? You have to scramble your own brain. Essentially, what you have to do is pummel your brain with so many references, so much experience that your brain, that the whole system just goes, all right? That's what's got to take place. So when you as a newbie, when you go out and you just go approach, right, and you're just getting blown out, and you're like, oh, I'm going to stop, and you go, no, keep going, right? That's what a boot camp is, right? Keep going, all right? And you keep going, boom, boom, and then eventually your mind goes, you know what? It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me. Look, I'm still here. I'm okay. I'm fine. And then you cross what is called the indifference threshold. And that's when things change. Because now you're indifferent. And now the groups do open. All right? And now I want you to think of it like this. Think of your mind. We said it is always pinging. Your mind's always pinging for evidence. So if this is you, it's always doing this. All right? It's doing that. And it's looking for normal and permissible behavior. That's what it's looking for. So when you start to go out, initially you're afraid that if you go and approach, that is not normal and permissible behavior, and you could get pounded. You could get beat up, you could get your ass kicked, whatever, you get the giant rock thrown at your head, and you're gone. You're done. All right? But then, when you do it, and then your mind is pinging, right? It's going ping, 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 ping. You're doing that, and then your mind goes, look, this is normal and permissible behavior. That's what's going on there. Okay, boom. I can do this now. So what happens is, you go from being what's called stifled to unstifled. And this is a realization. This here, what I'm going to explain to you guys, was the realization that allowed me to get from like a fairly consistent level to a almost like close to 100% consistent good nice level. This is the realization, and this is, you know, we're deep into day 4 here. This is what part of